My selfish fiancé insisted I transfer a portion of my company to her family. She threatened to call off our engagement, but my response shocked her. I'm a 33-year-old man, and my partner demanded I hand over a share of my business to her parents. She gave me an ultimatum: comply or cancel our wedding. What I did next left her speechless. I take immense pride in what I've achieved. My tech consulting firm may not be a global giant, but it's entirely mine. I built it from scratch. No family money, no investors, just relentless effort, sleepless nights, and countless sacrifices. I skipped vacations, survived on instant meals, and put my personal life on hold to make it succeed. So, yes, I'm deeply attached to my company. A year ago, I met Jenna, a 29-year-old woman who seemed perfect for me. She was driven, charismatic, and had a way with people that I admired. Our relationship blossomed, and after a year, I proposed. The wedding planning was her domain, and I was content to follow her lead until everything changed. 3 months before the wedding, Jenna dropped a bombshell. Over coffee, she casually suggested I gift her parents a stake in my business as a token of gratitude. I was stunned. "You want me to give them part of my company?" I asked, thinking I'd misheard. She nodded, smiling as if it were the most reasonable request. "Just a small share. It would mean so much to them." I couldn't believe her audacity. "Jenna, I built this alone. Your parents had no role in it. Why would I hand them equity?" Her smile faded. "Because they're family. This isn't about business, it's about trust and respect." The conversation escalated. She accused me of being selfish, while I stood firm, explaining that transferring ownership wasn't a trivial gesture. It had legal and financial implications. The next day, her mother called, thanking me for the generous offer Jenna had supposedly made on my behalf. I was furious. Jenna had lied to her parents, making it seem like I'd agreed. When I confronted her, she defended her actions, claiming she was bringing everyone together. Things worsened when Jenna issued an ultimatum: "Give my parents a stake or the wedding's off." I refused, and she retaliated by painting me as the villain to friends and family. I sought advice from my lawyer and close friends who confirmed my fears. This was a glaring red flag. Jenna's entitlement and manipulation were unacceptable. When I stood my ground, she alternated between anger and tearful apologies, but the damage was done. In the end, I called off the engagement. Jenna's true colors had emerged, and I realized our values were irreconcilable. Love shouldn't come with ultimatums or demands to sacrifice what you've worked for. The fallout was messy. Jenna and her parents tried to guilt-trip me, and she spread a skewed version of events to mutual friends. But when I shared the truth, backed by evidence, most people sided with me. Jenna's final attempts to reconcile, filled with apologies and excuses, fell on deaf ears. I'd seen enough. If this was her definition of love and partnership, I wanted no part of it. The weeks following the breakup, I threw myself into my work, using the long hours to distract myself from the emotional whirlwind. My business had always been my anchor, and now it became my sanctuary. The team noticed my increased presence but wisely avoided prying until one afternoon my COO, Mark, knocked on my office door. "You've been here every weekend for a month," he said, leaning against the doorframe. "You okay?" I hesitated, then sighed. "Jenna and I called it off." Mark whistled. "Damn. Over the whole gifting shares to her parents thing?" "Among other issues." He shook his head. "Bullet dodged, man. Anyone who sees your company as a bargaining chip isn't worth it." His bluntness was refreshing. For the first time in weeks, I laughed. Jenna wasn't done. A LinkedIn post from her father went viral in our professional circles. Disappointed by so-called entrepreneurs who lack gratitude for family support. Though he never named me, the implication was clear. Colleagues and clients began reaching out, some with awkward questions, others with quiet support. One message stood out, from Daniel, a longtime client. "Heard some noise. Just wanted to say your integrity speaks for itself. Let me know if you need anything." I replied with a simple, "Thanks, I appreciate it." Meanwhile, Jenna's social media became a curated highlight reel of her new beginnings. Yoga retreats, cryptic quotes about betrayal, and a sudden interest in entrepreneurship. I muted her accounts. Then an email arrived from an unfamiliar name, Lena Carter, Jenna's younger sister. "Hey, Aaron. I know this is weird, but I wanted to apologize for how my family treated you. Jenna's always been persuasive, but this was next level. My parents enable her, and I'm sorry you got caught in it. P.S. I run a small design firm. If you ever need branding work, I'd love to collaborate. No hard feelings if not." I stared at the screen. Lena had been the quiet one at family dinners, observing more than speaking. Her email was a lifeline, proof that not everyone in Jenna's orbit subscribed to the drama. I replied, "Lena, thanks for this. Let's grab coffee sometime. Strictly professional if you're comfortable." Months passed. The business grew and the gossip faded. I reconnected with friends who distanced themselves during the engagement, realizing how much I'd isolated myself to accommodate Jenna's world. One evening at a tech networking event, I ran into Olivia, my lawyer. "You look better," she said, sipping her drink. "Less, I might strangle someone." "Funny," I deadpanned. "Turns out cutting toxic people out of your life is good for your health." She grinned. "Who knew?" "Speaking of, Lena Carter reached out to me last week. Solid reputation. You two working together?" "Just coffee so far. She's different." Olivia raised an eyebrow. "Careful. Don't go falling for the sister of the ex who tried to hijack your company." I snorted. "Not happening." But as I drove home, I wondered, what if it did? A year later, I sat across from Lena at a quiet cafe, sunlight filtering through the windows as she scrolled through her portfolio on a tablet. Her design work was sharp, minimalist, innovative, and exactly what my company needed for its rebrand. "So?" she asked, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "Think we're a good fit?" I smiled. "Yeah, I do." There was a pause. Then carefully, she added, "For the project, I mean." "Right. The project," I chuckled, rubbing the back of my neck. "Listen, Lena, I know this is complicated, but I just want you to know I'm glad we stayed in touch." She met my gaze, her expression unreadable for a moment before softening. "Me too." The closure. Jenna's name popped up one last time, an invitation to her wedding. She was marrying a venture capitalist twice her age, someone her parents had reportedly approved of. I declined with a polite, "Wishing you all the best," and donated the RSVP envelope to my shredder. Oddly, I felt nothing. No anger, no regret, just quiet relief. The realization. That night, as I walked through the empty office, I paused at the glass wall overlooking the city. My reflection stared back, a man who'd almost let someone else's demands derail everything he'd built. But I hadn't. The company was thriving. The team was stronger than ever. And for the first time in years, my life felt mine again. No ultimatums, no guilt, no shadows of someone else's expectations. My phone buzzed, a text from Lena. "Sent over the first draft. Also, there's a new sushi place downtown, strictly business. Unless you're terrible with chopsticks, then it's a charity case." I grinned. Maybe some doors were worth opening after all. Final words. Love shouldn't come with conditions. Success shouldn't come with strings. And if someone ever tries to convince you otherwise, walk away. Because the best endings aren't the ones you're forced into. They're the ones you choose for yourself. The lesson. The whole mess taught me two things. 1. Boundaries aren't negotiable. If someone can't respect your no, they don't respect you. 2. Red flags are easier to ignore when you're in love, but the bill always comes due. Jenna's ultimatum had been a gift in disguise. It forced me to choose between my self-worth and a relationship built on conditions. I chose right. As for the future, I'm keeping my business and my heart protected. But I'm not closing any doors. If you enjoyed this story and felt the emotions behind it, don't forget to give it a like, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel for more real-life experiences and heartfelt stories. Your support means the world, and it helps us bring more content like this to you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.